How you guys doing? I'm Asad Abdulkhaliq.
Hey, Ray Graham, and you now here with After the Play podcast.
During this podcast, or with this podcast, we'll be talking about a bunch of different situations, but what we're going to be focusing on is after the play, which means when we were done playing football, whether you're on a collegiate level, NFL level, or high school. It really doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter what sport. But what we're going to be focusing on today is our actual careers and when we were done playing. A lot of people don't realize what goes into being a great athlete or great anything. They don't realize what kind of work it takes. So what we're here to do is to kind of shine a light on what happens when, or what you go through when you're done. Because a lot of people, once again, think that it's so easy to just move on.
Definitely.
You get what I'm saying? Or to just start a new profession, or to just start your life. You get what I'm saying? After you've invested so much. And I'm not necessarily just speaking about your mind, but I mean physically. Mm-hmm. I mean injuries. You get what I'm saying? Time, effort. You get what I'm saying? Getting in great shape. You know what I mean? Setting your mind on a goal, which I know my goal, which was the one and only goal, was to make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the same for you, which I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I think a lot of us we always thinking that, right? Definitely making it to the NFL was a plan A and the only A and B to us. At least that's what we was thinking at the time. For me, I know when people ask me like, "What's your plan B if football don't work?" I wasn't thinking about if football don't work. This is what I do.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
so
like
what you mean is if it works, right?
Yeah, if you ask me a plan B, you don't play sports.
Right.
You somebody that just looking on the outside, looking in, and that wasn't going for me. Like I wasn't having that.
Right. People don't realize how much you put into, mm-hmm. and once again, I'm not speaking about only what they see. Mm-hmm. It's what they don't see that is the biggest thing. They don't see you when you're working out by your lonesome, running. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Sweating, bleeding, throwing up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And pushing all of that to the side for your goal, mm-hmm. which is why it makes it so hard. You get what I'm saying? Once you're done, you get what I mean? So since we're talking to each other and the first show is about each other, really, I'm gonna start with myself. You know what I mean? I started 4 years. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? I don't know too many people at the quarterback position. You get what I'm saying? Personally, who did that?
When you say 4 years, and for the people that don't know, where did you go? Where you play at?
University of Minnesota.
Okay.
Big Ten. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? At the time when the Big Ten was totally different than it is now.
Yeah, big time.
Every year, you get what I'm saying? Ron Dane, Charles Woodson, Matt Wilhelm. List goes on and on. You get what I'm saying? And we could, LeVar Arrington, guys like this. I started as a freshman, 1999. I started. You get what I'm saying? All the way to 2003. Mm-hmm. Now I split some time my first 2 years just because it was a change. Mm-hmm. It was a change mentally. Mm-hmm. Physically, I was fine, but it was a change mentally. But once again, I started 4 years in the Big Ten. I'm talking about. I played in front of 114,000, 110. You get what I'm saying?
That was amazing,
right. That was that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, under the lights.
And most people, like I said, have not been around 50,000 people. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? On an average day, mm-hmm. or no 50,000 people. And I mean, not just people who were watching us. I mean, people who were wearing our jerseys, sending us mail, sending us this, crying. At, pictures, things like this. People, when they get older, they say, "Hey, I remember you. Oh man, you were this and that." So that was a testament to our hard work. So then mm-hmm. I go to you. So let the people know a little bit about you and what you was doing.
Let's enough about me. Let's let the world know how many touchdowns you did and what you did out there in Minnesota. You had about 55 touchdowns.
Right.
You was leading the nation. Come on, talk for a little bit, man.
My senior year, I was leading the nation in efficiency. I might be number one. I was number one until the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you even bring that up because number one in front of Eli Manning, in front of Phillip Rivers, in front of Ben Roethlisberger.
These are all NFL prospects.
And not Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Hall of Famers, we can argue about it, but whatever. Who I came out with, and it didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. And I'll, go briefly into actually the show and what happened. So I broke my foot pro day. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about in front of all of the scouts. And I mean, you got to understand that this year we were 10-3, the first time since like 1904 or something like that. So my team was a team to talk about within Minnesota. So anyway, and right before we go to run our 40s and do all of this, the scout from the St. Louis Rams was like, yo, we're going to draft you. I just want to see you throw. You get what I'm saying? So for me,
I would have stopped right there.
No. And I should have. What I should have did, and I you know, I ran my 40, whatever the case was. Then I did the L drill, which we understand what the drill, and we did the drill 10 billion times.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, 10 billion times. And when I went down and I came back, my foot broke. And you know, at that moment in time is when it began for me. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, everything went out the window, and if you ever see a flashback on the movie, you know how they go back in time or whatever. Everything was like, you know what I'm saying? Because he just told me the dream was fulfilled. You understand what I'm saying? Everything that we talk about, and the only thing which people don't, the only thing that we were playing for was there. It's here, bro. I just want to see you throw. And I was in such good shape, and so you know, I'm a senior. At a senior, your mind is different. I'm like, yo, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to tear this up, and when it happened, instantly, bro, absolutely everything changed, and it was literally trauma. You know what I'm saying? You know, most people think that trauma is something that you see, or you know, I seen somebody shot in front of me or killed. No. And it was a different trauma because, like I said, we're talking about work and ethic. I mean, you know, your work ethic and your hard work, everything that you put into this. So it clicked like, yo, wait a second. Most people have never ran a 110, a 350. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Or had to get up for
discipline. You never had to get up at 5:30 in the morning and had those workouts, and then on top of that, you had to get disciplined for whatever wrong that y'all did the day before. Like
most people who get injured for their job, they call out, or they get a check, or they get or they get workers' comp or something. No. We play. It depending on how bad it is. No, we're gonna play through it. We're gonna take something. They go a needle or some medicine, and we
because if you said it, that made a valid point, man. You said most people, like when they hurt at the job, they get paid for it.
Right.
They get compensated for that. When we hurt on our job, when we playing football, because that's a job to us too, and we take that serious. When we get hurt, it's like, nah, if you can't play, somebody else behind you about to take your position. Right. So you like, nah, I can't let this guy step up or get one up on me. So I'm playing at 70%, and I'm trying to like make it do what it do, but it's tough, bro. Like that's tough.
And let's go to the mental side of it. Most people don't know how to fight through things. You get what I'm saying? We learned how to push through things. You get what I'm saying? Because you put something in front of your pain. I'm a movie guy, so I go back to, I don't know if you ever seen Major Payne. Oh, yeah, but in the beginning of the movie, it was a guy screaming, oh, I've been shot. He said, you want me to fix it? He took the guy's hand and he broke his finger. So he forgot that he was shot. He was like, oh, my finger. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, wait a minute, I'm hurt. No, like real pain. My ankles, you know, like to this day, I need a replacement. My ankles jammed up, and we're all injured from some. But during that time, it didn't matter because there was a goal, and most people don't understand that, which is why, when it was or when it's over, they say, "Oh, just move on and be on." No, I sacrificed my body literally for the success, not just of myself, but for the success of the school. Because once again, they also they talk about your scholarship or whatever. You know, you get 100. No, our scholarship is $100,000. Yeah. We made the school the money back within 3 to 4 games. Our first year, not throughout the 4 or 5 years we did. No, through the first 4 games.
Definitely.
That we played or whatever the case is to build up your name and we just got jersey sales and video games and all that stuff like that. We made the school their money back. So, which is why. Another issue why we don't talk to us about that. Yeah, we don't want to hear that.
But it's like it's nothing against the outsiders that's like looking at it. But the thing is that like that y'all have to understand, like when you talking to us and you having that conversation, your job is to tell us how you feel and try to make us feel good about what we did. But like I didn't play college and high school just to end my season.
Right.
Like I was trying to get there. Like
Right.
so when we coming back to home and you having those conversations with certain people and they telling you this, they telling you, I can't really relate to you because you wasn't there to see what I've been through and what I had to put up with, those things that we had to do, getting up at 6, having practice at 11 to 2, 3, and then you got class at 4:30, then you got another class at 8:30. You wake up again to do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not mad about the sacrifices that I put up because this is what we choose to do. But you can't have that conversation with me if you don't know what I've been through.
And once again, that's in anything.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you didn't, I understand. I do, but I don't. Bankers sometimes, or people, sometimes when they lose everything, we've seen they jump out the window, they commit suicide. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I get it. You get what I'm saying? And this was really it for me, because not only was this an opportunity to be on TV, play more football, but no, it was an opportunity for everyone that I love, my family, my children, to have a different life, have some resources. You get what I'm saying? That we didn't have. You get what I'm saying? So that added on to the stress level. You get what I'm saying? Of what already was happening. So it compounded the situation. But when I look at all the accolades, all the records that I broke and things like this, to walk away with nothing. Because once again, like I said, scholarships is cool, but how many people do we know can't use their scholarship today, don't have jobs or whatever? You get what I'm saying? The goal was the goal. Definitely. It is what it is. And once again, we're not looking for sympathy. We're not. But what we want people to understand, for those who have young kids in whatever sport, the more you push your child, which is cool, because what we're saying is, we're saying to put all the effort that you have into whatever sport you love. That's perfectly fine. But realize what comes with it. After the play is not just something that we talk about, we live it, and we have great advice for athletes, you get what I'm saying, who need help, who may want to talk, who may need therapeutic services, because that's a big thing that I didn't know about.
And I have
and I wish I did.
But about what's that, therapy?
About therapy, because I felt like nobody understood me, or I couldn't talk to anybody unless you played or went through the same thing. So when I would speak to those, like you said, who didn't play or whatever the case is, it was like, okay, whatever the case is. But once I could sit down and speak to a man like you, who I know felt my pain, got some injuries or some scars to talk about, some stories and this and that, I begin to realize, okay, I'm not the only one. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, we got to go into the things that you did at your school, because once again, people need to know this too. We're not just guys who were on the sideline or who just started something to talk about. No, we actually lived this. You get what I'm saying? We were both stars at the universities that we played at, and put in a lot of work. You get what I'm saying? So please take what we're saying, 100%, serious, because we lived it. You know what I'm saying? So give the people a little bit about, about your background, man.
Got you, man. And don't be afraid like the people that played, past, former, collegiate, NFL players that played, don't be afraid to speak to somebody about it. Like, have that conversation with somebody, because, like, with me, my thing was, I felt like somebody owed me something when I came home or whatever, because I was stuck. Like, I was in the world, I was kind of confused, didn't really know where I wanted to go. You know what I mean? I started working just so I could get my mind off of something. I needed some money to make, but those things are real. Like, when you just playing football your whole life and then you just enter the real world. Like, we wasn't people that had jobs. Our job was to wake up in the morning and go to the gym.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So like, we was going to the gym, and then it was a basketball game. You was playing for multiple teams, or football. Right. You was doing something else. So, you know what I mean? Bring that forward, have that conversation, and talk to somebody, man. Don't be afraid and don't shy from it. But yeah, definitely, man. A little bit about me. I had went to the University of Pittsburgh, played there 4 years. I was able to get a chance to play as a freshman. For the people that know Dion Lewis, I backed him up. Me and him, we shared reps for my first 2 years there. Then he entered the draft and moved on. Then I basically kind of took over my junior year. We what happened? 7 games into the season, I got hurt.
Right.
I tore my ACL.
Right.
At that time, I was the #1 rusher in the country, so I was actually putting up some good numbers. Right. I was doing my thing a little bit. Then yeah, things went downhill after that. I got hurt. I didn't really come back my senior year as I felt as I should. I didn't feel like I was playing the same way I was playing before I got hurt, and that's regular. But things happen. Then fast forward, I was able to play for the Texans.
Right.
Got a chance to play with the Texans, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So definitely balled out a little bit, did my thing a little bit. So and then after that, let's say my first year in the league, I played and I came home. The next season, they let me go. Right. New coach. At that time, I was doing good. I thought I was going to get some reps. Like my coach, like, look, Ray, we want to keep you. We going to sign you. We going to bring you back. So they give me hope. Like they telling me this, they telling me that, and then next thing you know, we get a new coach. Now I'm back at home, sitting on the couch. So, and then now it's like, all right, where do I go from here?
Right.
And you get stuck, man. You get stuck. You lost because, like I said, I could see if I wasn't able enough to play on the next level, or I could see if I wasn't one of those guys that didn't really have that chance. It was like, now you got to really start, while you in college, you will look at yourself and be like, all right, this is what I got to start getting ready for, because I know I ain't got a chance.
Right.
I wasn't thinking that. I'm like, nah, I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to keep working on my craft, because I feel like I could play in this. I could play in that. And that was, but that's what we here for. We here to let y'all know about stuff like that, because in this situation, you have to plan for the future.
Yes. And
you really do. Like, you really have to plan for the future, because like I said, I was stuck. How did you feel after you came home? Like, for example, when you did all this stuff in Minnesota, and then when the season was over, what happened to you? Like, what did they say to you? Was they looking out for you? What was going on?
Specifically, I remember this day like it was yesterday, and for a long time I held on to this with my coaches and things like this. I went because, like I said, I broke my foot. And they weren't talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, the coaches weren't talking to me, and I felt like, wait a minute, no. I just spent the last 4 years as your starting quarterback. Once again, I was number 33 up for the Heisman my senior year. You get what I'm saying? Number one in this. So not only did we build up the school, but the better you do, the better name that you give your position coach, your head coach, and things like this. So no, we made it better for you guys.
Yeah.
So now because check this out. When it's time for them to get another job, if you don't think that they don't put our names on their resume, or they don't say, "Hey, I coach this guy," or you definitely do.
Yeah.
So I still feel that way. I'm just not upset about it. Upset by it. So I walked into the training room. You get what I'm saying? And a trainer who I'm not gonna say his name because he's my man and I love him, but I was angry with him. He was like, "Hey, what's going on inside?" I said, "Nothing, man. Everything's good. How you feeling? Cool." He handed me a paper. And he said, "Do me a favor, could you sign this?" And I was like, so I read it. It was a waiver, like, you know. So before you leave the school, your health and this and that. I was like, okay, cool. So I signed it. He shook my hand, and I was like, all right. And he turned away and walked away. And I was sitting there like, that's it? That's all I get?
You're done.
And at that moment, I realized, it came back to me that, this is a business.
Yeah, definitely.
You get what I'm saying?
But you ain't know that. You ain't know that coming up as a freshman coming in.
No, because it was all bells and whistles.
Yeah.
The recruiting trips, you know what I mean? All the food that you get in the beginning and the whatever. And at that very moment when it was over, it was over.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And I felt like, I felt abandoned at that moment. You get what I'm saying? When I felt like I needed them. Like, yo, listen, what do I do? You get what I'm saying? What's up now? All right, I'm done. I get it.
Yeah.
I would love to go train some more, this and that, but what people don't realize comes with that is finances.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, you have to be in a position financially when school is over to say, me, I was married, I had a kid, so it was like, okay, cool, I can go do this, but I have to provide
for these.
You get what I'm saying? The people at the lights and stuff and gas, I can't call it, yo, I got hurt, can y'all hold up for a minute? Nah, fam. We ain't waiting. They need that. So
I need that.
And once again, I'm a movie guy. You get what I'm saying? So everything, it's First Blood with Sylvester Stallone. You get what I'm saying? He came home from the war and was just walking around. You get what I'm saying? And they was picking with him. And now, mind you, he has all this military training, and he's he can kill a whole town. But he ain't and I know now for all you athletes out there, if this ever happens, God forbid. But it's going to, because everybody's not going to make it. And I want to get into that too.
Okay.
To the fact of, if you play the lottery and I tell you that you have a a bazillion chance of hitting it, but you play it every day faithfully. It's like, are you crazy? Because but whatever, try it anyway. So, what I realized was in that time, and I'm saying this to all the athletes out there, if you can, especially in college now or high school, whatever, stay around the sport. You get what I'm saying? Stay around the sport because it's what you know best. You get what I'm saying? I got a degree in education psychology. Great. But I know quarterback. I'm an expert in quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm an expert in football. You get what I'm saying? I should have stayed, or I suggest that for all the athletes, they should have stayed until they were able to deal with the outside world. You get what I'm saying? Because once again, it wasn't physical, it was psychological. You get what I'm saying? Where do I turn? I don't know what to do. No, you do. You know football.
Yeah.
So capitalize off of that, however, or whatever sport, basketball, whatever, soccer, whatever it may be, capitalize off of what you know best. So what I should have done, I should have stayed there or tried to be a general assistant. You get what I'm saying? And end up being a coach somewhere. Because even if that's not the road that I wanted to do, or take, or whatever the case is, I would have been using my talents.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't have felt like a total a total waste or whatever the case is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because being around it, man, it just helps you and it ease the pain. Like it's soothing, man, because you still around sports. You able to help the next person out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We could give back and we give the intel on the stuff that we wasn't getting when we was brought up. Or even if you was getting that kind of information, but still it's good to shed light on what we know. We've been to college. If I'm going back to my high school and I'm telling these guys, listen, this is something that you could do.
Right.
I played right in the same field that you played on. I practiced on the field that you played on. So you gotta, we giving that information, but at the time, I wasn't thinking that. When I came home, I was like, I'm kind of confused. Like I still should be playing, and like now, don't get it confused. Like our lives are good. Like we doing good. It's just that we here to once again, we just want to let y'all know, and we want to share insight and light on what goes on after that. So we want to, moving forward, we want for the viewers out there that's watching that y'all don't be caught up in this situation that we were stuck at. And I know, I talked to a couple of my players and they say the same thing. So I know it might be for the same for you. Like you probably talked to some of your players and some of them probably was caught up and they were stuck in that limelight right there because they ain't know which way to go.
Right.
And so man, that's definitely true. You gotta have a backup and understand that backup is really real. You know, like, cause you said, like if you tell somebody that you're gonna hit the lottery, but your chances are slim to none to hitting it.
Right.
That was us.
Yeah.
We was playing sports and it was like
we wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it. But we was one of those guys and growing up in high school, like, listen, only a certain amount of players make it to the NFL. We I'm good enough to win.
One of those players. What you talking about? Right.
If it's 99% don't make it, I'm that 1% that's going. You know what I mean? We thinking like that. So it's tough, but man. You gotta.
So let me ask you a question. Are we insane? You get what I'm saying? Like,
because we not regular people,
right?
Like we don't look at it. We weren't
regular athletes. You know what I mean? We weren't regular athletes. So, like I said, and I guess some part of you, you have to be insane. You get what I'm saying? Because
you gotta take a chance.
You gotta take a chance, not just in your state. You get what I'm saying? We're talking about athletes from all over the country. You get what I'm saying? That we were up against. Remember, listen. How many running backs in this country? How many quarterbacks in this country? Yeah. We made it to start for a major university. Yeah. You went on further. So, in a sense, we reached a goal. In a sense,
definitely.
But it still wasn't enough.
It wasn't our goal.
It wasn't our goal.
It wasn't. Definitely.
And you touched on something too. Being lost. You get what I'm saying? Being lost. And my coach used to always say this. Especially when the semester was over, we got up there early, whatever the case was, he used to keep us at the field house all day long. And he would always say, idle time. You get what I'm saying? You're going to find something dumb to do. And when I talked to my past players or my friends there was some really, really dark times for a lot of us. You get what I'm saying? Things that we would never do if we were on the right path, shall you say, or if we was focused. So that's why I say, for all my athletes out there who are listening, who will be watching, stay around the sport. You get what I'm saying? Because once again, going back to the Sylvester Stallone in First Blood, I felt like me coming home, because that's what I did. I came home after playing a little arena football, which meant absolutely nothing to me. But I came home, and it just wasn't. It wasn't what I wanted. You get what I'm saying? I felt like I wasn't doing anything, or I wasn't being used. I wasn't an asset. You get what I'm saying? And so with the movie, I'm like, yo, he should have stayed in the Army or the Marines. It's been at least we could have decompressed until I said, you know what? I'm good now. I realized what's going on. We could have been, around something, because it's one thing to feel useless. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? That's the word, like, because I know when I was done, I was an armed security guard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was an armed. I had the same suit on that Day and Craig had on. You know what I mean? Walking from work. You get what I'm saying? And I mean, every day walking home, bro, was like torture. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm amongst regular civilians is what I'm gonna use. You get what I mean? At my job, you get what I'm saying? Who, I just got done being in command of 6'6" guys, 300 plus pounds, who are staring at me looking for direction. Yeah. Now I'm at an armored security place. You get what I'm saying? With a supervisor who's 5 foot. You get telling me, giving me orders. I'm in great shape. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking like, I snap your damn neck. What you talking about? I'm on a truck with $6 million in it. Just all kind of thoughts are going through my mind. You get what I'm saying? And that was the worst time for me. You get what I'm saying? Everything that was going through my mind. Did I let my folks down? My wife, how they look? Because it's one thing for people to say it, but then your mind, you're like,
you feel like
you talking about me behind your back. They're like, am I a piece of shit? You get what I'm saying? So,
you feel that
some
way.
really rough times, man. You get what I'm saying? And that's what the people don't know, or they don't pay attention to, because it's like, we all go through it. Yeah, I know some things that you went through, and some things, and we'll get into that later on. But we wanted to just shed light, like you said, on the situation of it being over, and what to do and what not to do, which we'll get into. We're gonna have a bunch of different people on the show, from all different aspects. Sports, whatever the case is. We're even gonna have some therapy people up here, some therapists, excuse me, to help talk about trauma and how to deal with it when it comes. Because regardless if you've made it, I have the same conversation with those who made it and went on to make millions. They say when they were done, they had no clue on what to do, or whatever the case is. So we're going to touch on so many things, but we wanted to just give the people an overview of what this show is going to be about. It's going to be really interesting. We're going to have, like I said, so many people come on. Definitely, man. You definitely want to tune in.
And we're gonna keep it real with you, man. We're gonna give you all the real, and we're gonna let it know, man. Like I said, we're gonna ask those questions for when the people that we bring in, our guests. We're gonna keep it real with you, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to shed the light on what we've been through, and to give it to you guys, so you former players that's coming up, that want to play, that want to be successful, y'all know how to go about things.
Right. Once again, this is After the Play Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you tune into the next one.
Definitely, man. And make sure you guys drop a comment, like, subscribe. We all on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, After the Play. And once again, my name is Ray Graham.
I'm Asad Abdulkhaliq.
Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.
Yes, sir.